All right, let's talk a little bit about the study guide for exam 2. What can you guys expect to see? There's going to be 18 problems, one bonus question worth 5 points. All problems you will show your work. All right, this is extremely important because I did give some credit last time in situations where people failed to show their work, but just know going forward, failure to show your work will result in a loss of points. All right, and one more note on that, guys. If you use your calculator, that's fine, I've told you, but you got to tell me what you're typing in your calculator. At least tell me what you're doing. All right, and there are 5 multiple choice questions scattered throughout the exam. All right, and only one word problem this time. So what do you need to study? All right, for functions, you want to decide if a relation is a function. So I could give you a graph, I could give you an equation, I could give you some ordered pairs, and you're just going to decide whether or not it is a function based on the definition. You're going to need to give the domain and range. I will throw a function at you, or I could throw a graph at you and ask you for the domain and range. You are going to evaluate a function. This is the plug and chug math. I will give you a function and you'll literally just either plug in a number or symbol, whatever I give you. And then lastly, you're going to find the value given a piecewise defined function. So just make sure you can read a piecewise function. For slope, you're going to need to obviously find the slope, and this includes being able to find the average rate of change. All I'm saying here is make sure you know that I can ask for slope or I can ask for average rate of change, and it doesn't matter. Your life's on repeat. It is the same steps. You will get the change in some y divided by the change in some x. For linear functions, make sure you can write the equations for vertical and horizontal lines. Which one of those has zero slope, which one has undefined slope. Make sure you can write the equation given 2 points. This is exactly like the Google stock problem from Amazing Race. And make sure you can write the equation given just a slope and 1 point. All right, on the transformations, and I say this with an exclamation point, you have got to know the basic functions. These include y equals x, the absolute value of x squared, x cubed, the square root of x, and the cube root of x. You must know them. All right, with transformations, make sure you can shift and or reflect points. So understanding how shifts and reflections affect actual coordinates. Given a function, describe and graph the translations. And then given a translated graph, write the function. And so you guys got plenty of practice with both of these in my math lab. Maybe go back and review these in the homework. All right, function arithmetic and composition. All right, so here I could give you a table of values and ask you to get the composition. You had these both in homework 6 and homework 7, so maybe review just making sure you understand how to read a table. In theory, these should be easy problems because I take the math out of it. I'm simply just asking, do you understand what a composition is? Then I'll ask you to compose functions in terms of x. All right, so this is when you'll actually do f of g of x or g of f of x. And then lastly, I will certainly ask you to perform arithmetic on functions and function values. So this could be adding, subtracting, multiplying, and or dividing. All right, with inverse functions, you're going to decide if a function is one-to-one. Again, I could give you a function, I could give you just a set of ordered pairs, I could give you a graph. So just be prepared for all three. Given a function, I'll ask you to find the inverse. So this is when you flip x and y, all right, and do some algebra. And then given a graph, I will ask you to graph the inverse. Now keep in mind on this last one, you will not be able to use your TI calculator because you will not have the function for the graph. You will only be given a graph, and the key here is making sure you understand that x's and y's flip. And so point by point, x's and y's flip. All right, with circles, write the equation given the center and the radius. That should be easy should you understand center radius form. And then lastly, going backwards, given the center radius form, make sure you can graph the circle. All right, and then the last thing here, distance and midpoint formulas. This is that plug and chug math, formula-driven math. You will actually just need to find the distance and the midpoint given 2 points. All right, how are you going to study? You're going to finish homework 7 and quiz 7 first. Then you're going to review lecture and example videos for difficult concepts in the last 4 weeks. Then take exam 2 review quiz in my math lab. All right, and from that, do some practice problems in the exam 2 review. Just like for the first exam, I've created this review to automatically generate based on problems you miss on the review quiz so you get more practice. Again, likewise, as with exam 1, this quiz or review does not positively or negatively affect your grade. I can assure you the students that took the time to do it last time did better on exam 1. Also, I just want to keep in mind that I have noticed that people watching lectures and in particular example videos, those numbers are down, and I can assure you I have written the exam to reward the people who are taking the time to watch these example videos. All right, it is very, very important as a means of learning math to hear it, to see it, and to write it. And it is more than trial and error in the homework. So again, those of you that are watching these videos, you will see very similar situations on the exam.